Welcome to The Deciding Point, our Cracked Racquets weekly roundup of the biggest storylines happening throughout the tennis world. This past week saw a couple of first-time champions on the ATP and WTA Tour. Now, for Astra Sharma, it was her first WTA-level title in Charleston. For Stefanos Tsitsipas, his first Masters 1000 title. That still counts. Want to talk about those events, some of the action we saw on the Challenger Tour as well. With that in mind, Westhoff, roll those credits. Let's start today's show. For this week's Deciding Point, I wanted to get back to my roots and talk a little bit about some of the ATP Challenger actions we saw unfold this past weekend. Kacper, Zuk, and Jenson Brooksby are two young players I think all of you fans are going to have to get familiar with over the next few seasons. You look at their results on the Challenger Tour here to start 2021. Simply put, they're two players who are in the midst of their breakthroughs to the top of the professional game. And we say it all the time on our podcast. I'll repeat it here quickly. 1 week of impressive results. Obviously, we're going to enjoy that as tennis fans, but anyone can get hot for a week. All of these players playing professionally, so outstanding. On the right week, they can look like the best player in the world. That's how thin the margins are. You do it 1 week, sure, we'll applaud you. You do it 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row, we start to take notice. You do it 3 months in a row, we've got a trend on our hands. And folks, for 3 straight months, and really for the last 52 weeks since the tour resumed in August, these two players in Jenson Brooksby and Kacper Zuk have done nothing but win at any level they've played at. Let's start with Zuk, who's 41-9 now since the tour resumed in August. 3 25K titles last season. It was just so difficult for him to get into challenger events, but now that he has here in 2020, he's made the quarterfinals of 6 straight challengers, made the semifinals at 3 straight challengers, and now earns his first challenger title this past week with the victory in Split, Croatia. Now, he's not going to overwhelm you with size, but it's very much in that Davidovich-Fokina, Tommy Paul model. They can just do a little bit of everything, and no one is ever going to question their athleticism, their movement, their ability when you leave a ball short or you just leave it in the center of the court to turn on that random forehand, hit through any court. They're all well-rounded players as well. That's Kacper Zuk, who just, again, you look for him here. When you make 6 straight quarterfinals at the challenger level, 3 straight semifinals, and now earn the title, clearly that's the level you belong at. And, with this title, maybe it's time for him to start sniffing some ATP level qualifying as well. He's into the top 200. I don't know why I was pointing over here, but this is where the ATP level is. He's into the top 200 for the first time in his career. And again, if you see him win 3 matches at Grand Slam qualifying in a main draw of a Grand Slam, that should shock no one, because that's how good he's been here to start the season. Ditto for Jenson Brooksby, and for him, it's all come on hard courts. For Zuk, he's done it indoor hard courts, outdoor clay courts, but for Brooksby, it's not the prettiest game, but it just works. His ability to move the ball around the court. I shouldn't say prettiest. I should say it's not the most conventional, but just his ability to move the ball around the court, to hit the ball where you're not. You think you've hit a ball by him, but then he extends those long arms and sneaks that backhand passing shot by you, and his backhand isn't just good, it's exceptional. And just, again, his forehand's explosive. The serve leaves a little bit to be desired, but for a 20-year-old, you want to see there are still areas for improvement. That the serve is such a low-hanging fruit for him bodes so well for his career moving forward. He's 18-4 now to start the season. Last 3 challengers, title in South Africa, semifinal in Cleveland, and now the title here in Orlando. He doesn't drop a set in the entire week. He's into the top 200 for the first time. Guy's the real deal. Former Kalamazoo champion, dealt with injuries all of 2020, and just, we didn't get to see him, unfortunately, play for Baylor, and he wasn't able to come out and play events as soon as the tour resumed. But now that he is playing full-time, he's putting up the results, folks. Certainly, he's of the Korda, Nakashima generation of Americans. He belongs in the conversation right alongside them. Not a notch below. Perhaps everyone belongs a notch below Korda at this point with just how successful he's been at the ATP level. That's a discussion for another time. But Brooksby's in the conversation, folks. 2 challenger titles now, plus another final here to start the 2021 season. If it's an event on a hard court at the challenger level and Jenson Brooksby signed up, you should expect him. And honestly, if it's Kacper Zuk, you can expect both of them to be making deep runs. They are absolutely 2 players to keep an eye on throughout the rest of this 2021 season.